Hey guys, it's NCS Fan 001 here for another one of those normally weekly trophy list updates. Today's date is Monday, May the 6th of 2024. This one's a little bit different because it's covering a 2-week period of April the 22nd through May the 5th of 2024. Because last week I got COVID for the third time, which is to be expected with my job, though it's also been like a year and a half since I've been sick, so that's a good thing. But, it wasn't any sort of serious illness. It never is when I get it, but it did get me a little bit tired out on like Sunday and Monday, and then voice wasn't exactly where I wanted it to be. Throat was a little sore, very nasally at the time, so I figured I'd just wait. I didn't make a ton of progress that week anyway, so I think it was fine. So, these last 2 weeks, I have been making pretty okay progress in a couple of games. So, one thing that does need to be said, though, is our Fallout 76 guide is actually getting pretty close to being done. There's not a whole lot more things that need to be added. Like, there's the Steel Rain section that I'm working on that's probably 2/3 of the way through, or, no, it's probably more like halfway through. And then just got to add in the Brewing update and possibly the Pioneer Scout stuff. And then the partner that I'm working with, he's pretty close to being done with all of his stuff, so it'll be out sometime in the month of May. I am very proud of the work that's gone into that guide. I think it's one of the best things that I've ever co-written on the website. So I'm really excited for you guys to get to see that. I'm also working on a trophy guide with a different group of people for Fallout 4's PS5 version. People might ask, why are you doing another guide for it when you worked on the original guide for the PS4 version? Well, there's also, aside from there being like new information and everything about the game and new strategies for certain trophies like Benevolent Leader that make it easier, it also needs to be said that back then, my writing was not as good. I was definitely not as skilled with writing, and guide writing has also evolved quite a bit since then. It's gotten to be almost more complicated. Like, you have to have a lot more sort of... It's different from what it was 9 years ago is what I'm trying to get at. So that's the main reason why. Not doing, like, new DLC guides or anything, though I might go back and update the old ones if I find anything new that's important. So, let's get to actual trophy progress this week, or last 2 weeks. I'm going to keep probably saying week by accident. The first game from the last 2 weeks was more of the Walking Dead Telltale Definitive series, the North American version of the game. So, I earned a couple of trophies on the one stream I did of this before Fallout 4's PS5 version came out. So, the 2 trophies I earned were for completing Season 1, Episode 6, which is the 400 Days DLC. That one only took about an hour and a half, so it's fairly short overall. Actually, it took a little bit less than an hour and a half, like an hour and 20 minutes. So, played through that one pretty quickly, no issues there. And then Season 2's first episode was about another hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes. Now, this one, we're still doing the whole circle-only playthrough because I find it to be a more interesting way to play the games. Because circle is quite often the bad option, and it makes it kind of interesting to see what happens, and you get usually a lot of pretty uncommon, like, endings to episodes and stuff, or uncommon decisions. Like, I think I mentioned previously that one of my decisions for Season 1, Episode 5 was only 5%, which I've never had one that rare, I don't think, in a Telltale game. So that was pretty cool. But with this game, once again, every trophy is just earned by beating the game, so I'll get back to this sometime soon, hopefully, and break up some of the Fallout 4 streams with some Walking Dead, just for something a little bit different. But, once again, it is what it is. It's just beat the story for each game, you get the Platinum Trophy. Simple as that. Next up, we have the PS4 version of Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection. So in these past 2 weeks, I reached Captain rank, which I believe is 100 total medals. It's nothing, difficult really there. You'll get that easily along the way to not only the general rank, but to getting the legendary rank for each of your other medals. So I actually knocked out not only my first demolition medal, but I think I knocked out the entire demolition setup. Yep, so I am completely done with demolition medals. That is one of the 2 most annoying ones to go for, because remember, that's the one where you have to get 4 critical hits on an enemy vehicle in a single life, and then it turns to 3 once you get to like elite status or something. So the easiest way to do this is to go to Hoth and set it up as no AI on either team. Galactic Conquest, of course, so no AI on either team. So spawn in as a rebel with the rocket launcher, just take the snowspeeder out to the AT-ATs, and hit it in the neck 3 times or 4 times, depending on how many medals you've earned, and you will get the medal every time, then wait 30 seconds, kill yourself, and rinse and repeat the process until you get to legendary status. It's as simple as that. So none of those other ones were earned this past couple of weeks. This is the other one that's really kind of annoying to farm because you can only get 1 technician medal pretty much per life, and it's a little bit trickier to do because you have to hack into an enemy vehicle. It's kind of tougher to do if you're playing legitimately, or at least to get 64 of them. So I'm going to farm this one with a second controller, which is what I did for majority of it on the PS5 version. But other than that, most of the other medals I can get just by sort of playing normally and just enjoying the game again when I have some time, some free time to play it. So I haven't gotten any other legendary statuses, of course. Haven't done anything in Battlefront 1 at all. So, of course, Elite Demolition status. And have I reached no other Elite statuses? Really? Okay. So I guess I've only played the game for like maybe 3 to 4 hours total, and most of that was farming demolition medals. And then I'm working on the Battlefront 2 campaign. I'm maybe like a third to half the way through that. And then that's another demolition one. Any other ones here in the past 2 weeks? Nope. So I just haven't really played the game that much so far because, let's see, it is... How many hours do I have clocked on it? So 2 hours. I think it's more like probably 3 or maybe even 4 hours, but it's mostly just been farming demolition medals, so of course I got a long ways to go on that. So the big focus of the last 2 weeks has been Fallout 4 on the PS5. We finally got the PS5 version of the game. It has been an absolute blast to play through so far. It's done pretty well on the channel as well for a streaming series, so very happy with that. I mean, the first video is already up to nearly 1,000 views, which is quite surprising for me. But hey, I've been enjoying it a lot, aside from it still kind of being a buggy mess at times and crashing on me like 3 times so far in the first... Well, I've played maybe like 16 to 18 hours so far, so I guess it's not that surprising, especially if you compare it to like Fallout 3 or New Vegas. But in terms of the trophies earned so far, the trophy list is identical to the PS4 version of the game. Also, speaking of Fallout, not necessarily trophy related, I did finish watching the Fallout Amazon series. It was fantastic overall. I mean, I kind of see why people are a little iffy on the ending, or at least the last episode, because it might have made a few retcons. I don't personally think it retcons New Vegas out of existence, and I've talked about that some on my videos and streams and stuff. But, I mean, I can see why it might have changed a few other things around. I mean, we supposedly had the reason for the vaults being in existence already established. That was supposed to be that the Enclave was using the data collected from them in order to build a generational starship to go take over another planet or just move to another planet. And now it seems to have been something different, unless the Enclave is still over all of it. But I don't want to spoil anything else about it. It's a great series. Highly recommend watching it. Especially if you're a Fallout fan, you definitely need to watch it. It's one of the best video game adaptations we've gotten. So in terms of the trophies for Fallout 4, this one's going to take a little while to go through because there are a lot of trophies in this game between all those DLCs and the base game. So far, I've been playing through the story, and I'm through pretty much the whole general part of the story to the point at which I have to make faction choices now. So every trophy through here is unmissable and story related, so all of those you don't have anything to worry about. You'll get all of those just by playing through the main story and getting into the Institute for the first time. And then you pretty much have to start thinking about which faction you want to side with, and that's where a lot more of these other trophies are going to come from. So the nuclear option is the ending trophy that you get for siding with either the Minutemen, the Railroad, or the Brotherhood of Steel. Any of those 3 will get you that trophy. Institutionalized is the first Institute quest, but you can do it technically while still like not pissing off any of the other factions. You can do it right when you move into the Institute for the first time, or not move into, but the first time you teleport into the Institute. Then Mankind Redefined is either an Institute or a Brotherhood of Steel quest. Actually, no, I think that Institutionalized, Mankind Redefined, Powering Up, and Nuclear Family are all the Institute quest line, because the Institute gets its own separate silver trophy for finishing it. So I believe all 4 of these are Institute related. Then you have Minutemen trophies, so join the Minutemen for the first time, which is pretty much unmissable. And I don't really think you can miss any of the Minutemen stuff unless maybe you were to go to Nuka World first. I'm not entirely sure that could still happen, but I would just say that do the Minutemen stuff before you go to Nuka World, or else you might risk bugging it out or not being able to do it. I don't know if it becomes unobtainable, but I would just say be careful with that. So with them, you join up with them. Taking Independence is the quest where you retake the castle, and then Old Guns takes place shortly after that, where you get into the armory in the castle. None of that's particularly difficult. The Minutemen quest line is generally one of the more overall friendly quest lines, but let's be honest here, the Brotherhood of Steel is the most overpowered non-Institute faction in this game, and they're just completely badass with their giant airship and all their vertibirds and everything. So yeah, we're going to be playing with the Brotherhood of Steel as my main file, but you can do these Minutemen quests before you do molecular level, so it's kind of easy just to go ahead and knock them out there. So with the Brotherhood of Steel, all 3 of these trophies are done by siding with them and completing their storyline. They're all technically missable if you were to side with the Railroad or the Institute before really working with the Brotherhood of Steel at all, so do keep that in mind. Railroad, sort of the same thing. They have 3 trophies related to them. All of them are technically missable if you were to side with the Brotherhood or the Institute before even meeting them. Sanctuary is technically a Minutemen quest, but also kind of technically not a Minuteman quest because, let me rephrase that. I don't actually know if this one's even missable or not, because I feel like they go to Sanctuary pretty much no matter what you do, so I'm not entirely sure this quest can be failed or missed, because I don't even think you can send the Raiders to take over Sanctuary. Yeah, because I don't think they ever get the assignment to take over Sanctuary, so I don't really think that this one is missable. Allying with 3 settlements, this is technically another Minuteman trophy. You're going to get it along the way to the other Minuteman trophies because you have to side with them with creating enough other settlements until you can actually go take back the castle. So I'm pretty sure that this one's unmissable if you side with the Minutemen, but I guess it could be possible to fail it if you did all the Raider stuff. I'm not entirely sure, though. With that, it might not even matter because technically you're still taking over settlements for the Raiders, so it might not actually matter. Benevolent Leader is, of course, the most absurd trophy in the game. No one entirely understands exactly how it works, but there are easier ways to do it now than there were when the game first came out. There's DLC stuff in the game that makes it easier. Supposedly has something to do with making 5 cat cages or something. I need to look up what that new method is, but it's supposed to be one of the easier methods. Then you have the 10 side quests, which I'm at like 7 total, so pretty close to being done with that. The miscellaneous objectives is just extremely grindy. See how many you have by the time you do like the base game and all the DLCs other than that, and maybe Benevolent Leader. And see how many you have, and then you can farm out the rest on a Brotherhood of Steel file by just throwing the Vertibird smoke grenade and taking the Vertibird somewhere, rinsing and repeating. 1,000 resources used for crafting is pretty unmissable if you're a hoarder the way that I am. 50 lockpicks is very easy. That one should come naturally. 50 terminals hacked. I'm at like maybe 35 or so, making progress there. Weapons mods. I'm probably making decent progress on this, but I'm not sure exactly how close I am. This one, I think, specifically refers to crafting items from the crafting benches, like the weapons workbench and the armor workbench, or the power armor workbench. I don't think it definitely doesn't relate to building things in settlements because I would have had it long before now. You have to recruit 5 separate companions, of which there's something like 11 or 12 in the game, so this one's not a problem. Then the maximum relationship level, this one apparently is actually missable because I think you can actually piss off all of the companions enough to where it becomes unobtainable. I've never heard of that happening to anyone, but supposedly that's a thing that can happen. Build 100 workshop items is pretty self-explanatory. That's going to be a fairly early trophy in the game. I think I have a holotape, but you get them from certain magazines you can pick up. You can also get one in Vault 111 at the beginning of the game. The 5 giant creatures, I think the only one I've killed so far is the Mirelurk Queen during the end of the Minutemen quest line, so still got to get 4 more of those. Gonna have to look up exactly what still counts for that. Discover 100 locations. That one's fairly easy. It should come naturally before you finish the game. Read 20 magazines. I'm over 10 into that so far without even seeking them out. Then this is going to be the trophy I saved for last because it was the trophy I saved for last on my Fallout 3 return. And that is that the rarest trophy in the game right now? Hang on just a second. Yeah, how is Okay, so some of the faction trophies are rarer, but how is Benevolent Leader more common than Psychotic Prankster's Return? That is surprising to me. I find that's very unexpected. I will say that. Kill 300 people. This is pretty easy. You should have this one done by the time you finish your playthrough at some point. Then kill 300 creatures is unmissable. You'll get that naturally. Home run, this is something you do in Diamond City by running around the bases in the city. Pretty easy. Touchdown, this one you have to be killed by an explosive, I believe. And I'm shocked that I haven't gotten it yet. Then collect all the bobbleheads. There's 20 total. I've collected like 3 so far. Oh, so that looks like that's the rarest trophy right now. I mean, that's a collectible one though, so that one actually makes sense. And then just leveling up, reach level 50. I'm like level 30 something right now, so should hit level 50 sometime after finishing the main story. And then this is an unmissable story-related trophy you get whenever you get one of your story endings. So then this game, of course, has 6 DLCs. Automatron has 3 unmissable story-related trophies, and then 2 easy robot mod creating trophies. You'll unlock the mods pretty much naturally by beating in and scavenging robot corpses, and then you just have to build 10 of them, which can be done in just a couple minutes, so nothing much to worry about there. Wasteland Workshop was a giant mess on the PS4 version, and I really hope that it's been fixed and plays better this time. So the 5 tamed creatures, I think that technically might work with that cat method that I mentioned before. Building one of each cage type is a massive, massive grind. And I think that you need to have certain perks for these. I need to go back and look at the guide that I made for this particular DLC back in the day. The spectated arena fight is super freaking buggy just because getting the settlers to do what they're supposed to do usually doesn't work that well. And then we have Far Harbor, which is generally considered the best DLC. You have 5 story trophies, but supposedly there's one that's missable in here because I'm not sure how exactly you can miss it, but supposedly one of them is, so I guess keep that in mind. Then collect the magazines. I think there's only 5 of those. 30 Far Harbor creatures is easy. 20 locations is easy. Apparently, I've been told that this trophy is missable as well, which I never knew. Apparently, if you, like, destroy Far Harbor, which is sort of a thing you can do toward the end of the DLC, kind of, apparently then this one becomes unobtainable, which is surprising. I never actually knew that, and no one told me about it until, like, the last week or so. And then Cook a New Recipe is easy enough. Then Contraptions is the easiest of the 3 DLCs. There's nothing to worry about with this one. I mean, I keep assigning a certain someone by the name of Preston Garvey to the pillory, but he refuses to get in it for most of the time, so that's kind of annoying. Then this one is pretty simple. I mean, I already have weapons displayed. I don't think I have any... Actually, I might have armor displayed, but I don't have power armor displayed, but none of that's difficult. And then the 100 objects from your builders. This one can take a little while. You have to have a lot of either like steel or plastic to do it quickly. But you can knock out all these trophies technically in under an hour without much of an issue. Vault-Tec Workshop, you have this first trophy for just beating the DLC storyline. It's a pretty short storyline. It can be done in under 2 hours. The Vault 88 suit and Pip-Boy on a Dweller is or a Settler is pretty tough to miss. Just wait for one of them to show up and give them a Pip-Boy and a Vault suit. And then this one, I think you just have to, like, dig all the tunnels out or something, and I think you get that while working on the main storyline for it. And then there's Nuka World, which is a fun DLC just to play for the first time, but for trophy hunters, it's by far the worst one. So 12 quests for any of the Nuka World Raider gangs is fairly straightforward. That one shouldn't give you any major issues. I mean, you just have to spend time working with the different factions, do their side quests or Radiant quests, stuff like that. Then every issue of the Scav magazine, maybe there's 5 of those, I don't really remember. Creating all the different flavors of Nuka-Cola is a giant mess because there's exactly 20 different flavors, and some of the magazines for them can like phase through the ground and stuff and become unobtainable, so that's just wonderful, and you need quite a few materials to make all of them. This trophy is a real pain in the neck because it requires you to give the raiders settlements back in the actual Commonwealth wasteland, which can completely royally screw up a Minuteman playthrough, though thankfully this time my main playthrough is Brotherhood, so it shouldn't be as much of a problem. This trophy is extremely buggy and it takes forever because I'm pretty sure that most of the Nuka-Cola flavor abilities wear out after like 5 seconds, so this one was pretty annoying to do on the PS4 version. This one is a massive grind normally, but there's actually a much easier way to do it. You can play basketball and cheat like a kid at Chuck E. Cheese, just dunking the ball back and forth into it just by moving it. So apparently you can do it that way and do it a lot more easily. And then you just have 4 story-related trophies, but I think they might technically be missable if you just decide to go with the whole wipe out the Raiders as your final option and all. So yeah, Fallout 4, it's a lot of fun to come back to the game, but enjoying it a lot so far. Going to continue streaming it, of course. And yeah, that's it for Fallout for now, but all sorts of great stuff with Fallout happening right now. I still need to get back to working on those Fallout lore videos that I've slowly been working on. And finally, since it's been pretty much exactly a month at this point, and since I got my last Platinum trophy back in Battlefront Classic on PS5, I decided to go ahead and grab one quick, easy Platinum trophy because I only paid 1 penny for this Platinum trophy. So, Road Bustle Online is the 3rd game in the Road Bustle franchise after Road Bustle and Road Bustle 2, and the game was on sale for a penny, so I decided, why the heck not, go ahead and get it. Except the difference with this game is that you get to play with up to 7 or 8 of your friends in this game, because that's, I hope it was just a joke or something, or just meant to be a easy Platinum trophy that people would buy because it's an easy Platinum. I don't know. Whatever their goal was, though, all you have to do to get the Platinum is reach 2,100 total points. This can be done in under 5 minutes because in this game, it doesn't matter if you get hit by a car. You keep all your points. You just go back to the beginning of the layout. So you just have to keep running forward for 4 to 5 minutes and you get your Platinum. I also wanted to go ahead and knock this out because it is online and requires an internet connection and requires some sort of online servers. And I highly doubt that this game will have those servers after like another year from now. So yeah, that was it for these last 2 weeks. Quite a bit of decent progress made. Very excited about Fallout 4. So let's go ahead and sync up and talk about the next week. So, level 863, 69%, 28,069 total trophies, lots of 69s in there, 801 platinums, 5,313 golds, 7,519 silvers, 14,436 bronzes. So, plans for the upcoming week. Continue working on Fallout 4, hopefully play a little bit more of Star Wars Battlefront, and possibly get a stream in there of the Walking Dead Telltale Definitive Series. Those are the 3 main things I want to work on. I do want to play that Crab Souls game that like Lizard Guy and other people have been telling me about because it actually looks really fun, and apparently it's actually quite an easy Platinum trophy as well. So that would be a fun one to break up the Fallout 4 and Walking Dead, I guess, monotony or duopoly, whatever you want to call it. So, with this week, though, the schedule is going to be a little bit weird because it's both my mom's birthday and Mother's Day on the 12th. So, like every 5 years or so, her birthday is the same day as Mother's Day. So, because of that, they are going to be down here this week and going to be spending a lot of time with them, of course. Sorry about that, guys. I just had to step away for a minute. Anyway, so with this coming week, like I said, with my parents coming down Thursday through Sunday, I don't know what the stream schedule is going to look like. Maybe something like Tuesday, Wednesday we get to stream. Maybe one of those is Fallout 4 and the other one we just take a quick break and look at Walking Dead again. I guess we'll figure it out, though. We will, it should be fine, though. Still got a couple of streams in. Still have a couple videos go up over the weekend or toward the weekend. In terms of other videos that I'm working on, the Bugsnax trophy video is probably about a third of the way done. And I'm also doing all the research right now for the Fallout Ohio lore video. And I've also gotten started on another lore video for right after that for a state that I don't think has ever even been mentioned in the Fallout universe. So I am quite excited for that. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and leave me a like, subscribe, ring the bell if you haven't done so already. Let me know down in the comments what you've been working on this past week or two. And yeah, I will see y'all later this week for hopefully a couple of streams and a couple of videos and everything. So see you guys then.